matters, isn't it? I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of it, the next game is always the one that matters, but fuck. What are your Rangers doing? Are they finishing first or
No,
second
no, no,
in
no.
their
We still have a chance. I don't know. Depends what the Devils do. We still have a chance at I don't know, because the Devils, if they win out and fucking Carolina loses, Devils will win the division. So the Rangers will wind up playing Carolina. So you know, still a
hmm
lot, still a lot in the air. All I know is that
I'm hearing feedback.
are you?
Oh, Alfredo, we're live, eh?
Yeah,
On YouTube.
yeah,
We're already live.
yeah.
You don't say that.
The intro is on, dude.
No, no, on YouTube. I could hear us our whole conversation.
Yes.
Benfica Podcast is one of the founding members of Benfica Independent. Benfica Independent is an independent platform made by fans for fans. And in it, you can find our podcast, along with many other podcasts, along with articles of opinion, video segments, and much, much more. We're also on patreon.com/Benfica Independent with exclusive contents for our patrons.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo. Sí, es un club que tiene una grandeza que no se comprende si no estás aquí dentro.
São de uma magia única, benfiquista, que só nós sentimos assim. Por muitos desgostos que possamos ter, valores mais altos se levantam. E o valor mais alto que se levanta em termos futebolísticos chama-se Benfica.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero o manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estado e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Doll Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumacic, coming to you every Tuesday. The latest.
Quando? Every Tuesday de vez em quando.
I just wanted to say something real quick before we
Welcome to Freddy's.
before I introduce everyone. No, the Freddy's are not all in yet. But if you're listening to this, or if you're watching this with a young kid, a minor, or please be warned. There might be some curse words being thrown out today out of these old microphones.
Not from me.
You've got the episode name as PTSD, but it should be not safe for work.
Not safe
as
for
well
work.
on there.
Good call. Cristiano's here. Cristiano promises that he's going to keep his mouth clean. Otherwise, he gets the pimenta na língua.
I tell you, this is what I think we said it all throughout last season and the season prior when things weren't going well. And I'm saying it again now, man. This is one of those days I wish I was not even on the podcast because it's been depressing these last 4 days.
Yeah, it's been a depressing Easter.
It's been challenging. It's been very challenging, bro.
For those of you guys watching, I hope you guys like our newest addition here to the studio. It's very nice.
Where's the stars?
Yeah, there's no star. Those are the other stars. We didn't get stars with this one.
No stars.
But anyway, also with us.
This is the new fathead.
There's a new fathead.
Yep.
Dave De Oliveira. What's
Looks
happening,
good.
Dave?
It's good. Good to be back. Wish it was under better circumstances. Jeez, I'm gone for a
o
week
Diogo-
and the whole season's got upside down here.
Diogo Reis.
Diogo já vem a rasgar.
Amém.
Diogo já vem a rasgar. Rua Schmidt, Rua Rui Costa, Rua Vlaco, Rua Kitman. Vai uma limpeza do caralho. Anyway, again, and Manny said put the kids to bed. Now, the problem is that a lot of guys will listen to the podcast while they drive their kids to school. I got an email one time said, yeah, I was driving my kids to school and you guys were just going and cursing. Yeah, so we want to forewarn.
We never cursed.
Yeah, that was years ago.
You curse more. Oh,
I
years
do.
ago, I probably did.
It was
Yeah.
worth it.
All the curses are worth it in the show. So I just wanted to forewarn everyone. If you're watching this or listening to this with young kids, there's going to be some
The wife.
the Wi-Fi.
It's working.
How am I connected?
It's gotta be Wi-Fi. You didn't connect the
I
Ethernet cable.
I know. When I got your
You
Wi-Fi,
gotta have the.
when I got your Wi-Fi from my phone on Friday,
Uh-huh.
it probably gave my laptop because it's all the same
Whatever.
ecosystem.
Ethernet.
Ecosystem.
You want to turn it on?
We can plug it on.
What-
Peraí. Fala aí com o pessoal.
Dave. This guy, bro. Say me, you guys on the perdido. It is working fine, so I don't know. But, obviously the Ethernet cable will be a stronger signal. We're going to give a little bit more time for the Freddies to join us. So far, Sheik Marcelino, we really need this therapy session. Dave De Oliveira with a smile. Davey Hen, I'm at a loss for words. Where did this team go? Manny Baladão, put them to bed. He's referring to the kids. Obviously, you mentioned Diogo Reis. PR, Maldito Gilberto, não deve voltar a jogar. Neres titular já em Chaves. Manny Baladão, once again, his therapy. And Diogo.
Therapy session,
Feels like
baby.
having a good laugh. So, welcome to all the Freddies to another edition of the Benfica podcast. We wish we were here on happier terms.
Hey, but
I'm trying to keep my anger down because it's been rough.
life is made of ups and downs. How does Michael K sign off?
In the words of Billy Joel, the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes, and I'm afraid it's time to say goodbye. Something like that.
Yeah, that's
Something
I think
along
you were
those
spot
lines.
on.
Yeah, it's something.
I
Along
think
those
you were
lines.
spot on.
You can tell I listen to talk radio, huh?
Yeah, I listened to Michael K. especially Yankee talk. But anyway, we're just encher bocadinho chouriço, waiting for people to come in. Welcome all the Freddies. I think Cristiano already mentioned a lot of you by name. Thank you for joining us in this night that is a challenging night for all of us Benfiquistas. And when we thought we were going to use this game to get past the trauma we suffered on Friday against Porto,
Dude, this is a
here we are
double
again,
whammy, bro.
we lost one game all season, not counting the one that went to penalties, obviously. And in the past 4 days, we've lost 2.
Yeah, it's
Go figure that out.
When
Anyway,
it rains, it pours.
Dave. It's one of those you get slapped on one cheek, but you must turn the other one because it's double whammy. It's been rough. It's been rough, Alfredo. I know you want to start off. I know you're gonna start off with the Porto game on Friday.
that was the first round. That was the first.
You guys don't understand, man. Over the years, there's been a few times where I went to bed at night and I closed my eyes real hard and I said, I want to wake up not Portuguese tomorrow.
Not Portuguese.
Not Portuguese tomorrow. Let me be something else. Because obviously being Portuguese, I could only be a fan of one club. It's, that's it. I couldn't be a fan of another club. And like this club has put me through so much heartache, man. And bro, we really were coming into this week flying high. That's my iWatch is supposed to go to sleep time, but I never go to sleep at that so I turn it off. But the buzzer still goes off on my phone. But yeah, man, it's been really hard over the last couple of days. We often come on this podcast when it comes to these big time games, and Alfredo asks me, Chris, what's your prediction? How do you think things are gonna be? And a lot of times between all the gibberish that I say, one of the things I always ask of this club, no matter who the coach is, the players, the president, I always ask for one thing, which is I want this club to match Porto's intensity, whether it's on the road, it's at home. We've seen it a couple of times, but it's too far in between. We need to see this with a lot more consistency in the game. And again, coming into Friday, Benfica was flying high. Porto's 10 points behind. As I told you on the podcast when you're predicting ticky-tack bullshit and all this, gibberish from Porto, and I said, nah, man, I think, look, they have no choice but to get out of here with the W. And it was just depressing to see what went on in the lose. Obviously, I don't want to cut ahead because you have to talk about instances. But it's been really disheartening. I know Dave's over there with a little smirk.
Yeah, let's get into it. I'll give you the lineup and we'll get started.
Dave, are
I
you
think I'm
frozen?
frozen on that video.
Oh,
portion, but
okay.
You guys can still hear me, right?
Hey,
Yeah, I can
Freddy,
still
can you
hear.
still hear us? Are we still having technical difficulties?
No, you guys could
because
all
you're
hear us.
still on Wi-Fi. You plugged it in, but you never turned off Wi-Fi. So whatever. If it's working,
I don't know if I should turn off Wi-Fi. That would probably go. If I turn off
if
Wi-Fi.
you turn off Wi-Fi, I think it goes instantly into. But whatever, leave it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, count to 3. I'm just
Turn
gonna
it back
turn on
on,
fucking
bro.
Wi-Fi.
There we go. There you go.
Oh,
you're back.
wait. I'm gonna turn off the Wi-Fi.
You good, Dave? Dave, this guy says, let me check. Yo, did I do this right? And he unplugs it. Like,
All right, you guys can hear us. We're all good. All right, Money
Hold on,
Validon says
because-
we're good.
hold
Yeah,
on.
back.
hold on, Dave, you there?
Dave's,
Yeah, I'm here.
Dave's still frozen. Let me see if I could. Do
No, he's
something
not
with
frozen
Dave.
no more. He's not. Well, he's
No,
not.
he's there. There he is.
No, but now he's frozen again.
No, he's not. Dave, wave your hands.
See, he's frozen
He's
again.
gone.
I don't know, but it's hilarious. This guy checks. He unplugs the wire. Oh, is this plugged in?
No, because I didn't know if I put it upside down or not.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But wait, give it a second. And a couple of more shooties just to make sure everybody's on
Yo
board.
Ray said is giving us the thumbs up. Dave, you good, right? We can hear Dave.
Yeah, you guys can hear me, but I think I'm just frozen on the picture in picture there
Bullshit,
on the YouTube.
Dave. It's bullshit.
Don't curse. Don't curse. Man, he said it was fine until you touched something.
Yeah,
The guy unplugs the wire. He's like, oh, is this plug right? I'm like, it's not going to work if it's unplugged.
we're just touching shit.
Yeah.
Let me see something real quick.
Hey,
All
Dave's fine.
Dave's there. Dave's good there.
Yeah.
Let me
fine
just
there.
change things here. Window capture.
Baraka FM. Baraka Podcast, I mean.
Yeah. Let's see. No, I can't get Dave.
No?
Peraí. Oh, wait. I gotta do something. Fala aí com o pessoal, pá, enquanto eu faço esta merda.
Well, dude, everything I got to say is depressing, and I want you to get into the Porto game, so.
Cancel.
I mean, look, all I know is that coming into this game, guys, I expectations were high. All right, Dave, I'd assume your expectations were high as well, right? We were coming in flying high with a nice 10-point advantage. We get a draw. We come away from this game with a draw. It's pretty much wrapped, right? Campeonato's wrapped up. We're all feeling good about this. Totally different attitude coming into Tuesday. But of course, good things can't happen to Benfiquistas. We have to suffer to the very end. And we had to go through that torture of 90 minutes at the Estádio da Luz on Friday.
Yeah, let me, now, let's, all right, já podes parar, Cristiano.
Dave's frozen again. But it's all right.
No, oh. Yeah. I don't know what's going on there, but it's okay. Just keep going.
But many people don't say I'll
We'll figure out.
Chiquinho
Chiquinho
podcast.
podcast. Yeah, de vez em quando sai-me bom, de resto é essa merda. What do you call it? Yeah, let's get into this Porto game. So Porto, Benfica hosted Porto on Friday at Estádio da Luz. Vlaco Dimos was in goal. Ba, Silva, Otamendi and Grimaldo, Tino, Chiquinho, João Mário, Auschnes, Rafa, and Ramos was the lineup. And I don't know, what do we talk about? We talked about that Porto was going to come at us, right? Is that what we said? I don't remember exactly what we said.
Porto was going to play the prototypical
Porto game?
Yes, Porto game with all the
Which
BS
was?
and this and that, and I remember saying, "Nah, man, I think it's gonna be a little bit different because they don't have the luxury of getting away with all that stuff because they have to come away with 3 points." And we did see a kind of a different Porto. They tried to play football. They pressed us all over the pitch.
Yeah.
They really suffocated us, and Benfica had a really difficult time in handling that pressure and handling the moment.
We scored that goal against the run of play.
Which was really, I mean,
It was a nice play.
it was a beautiful play, but I think it was what, Dave? It might have been our very first time on that end of the field, correct?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, at that stage of the game, 10 minutes in, it was all Porto up until that point, like you said, the
But
high
Porto,
press.
up until that point, wasn't really creating much. They just had a lot of the ball. And Benfica was able to keep them to the outskirts of Vlaco Dimos' net and yada, yada, yada. And then before you know it, Benfica goes down the right side. Super Mario crosses it to a flying Gonçalo Ramos who headers it off the crossbar, hits the back of Diogo Costa's head or back or whatever it might have been, and it went in the net, which ultimately should have been an own goal if it wasn't.
And we thought, here we go.
Thought, here we go. We're flying high.
Oh, I
Porto
was
Flying high, getting
I
that
thought
early
that was
goal.
it. It was going to be an easy cake in the walk from there.
Yeah,
but-
because now Porto has to open up. Like I said before,
anything but a win for them doesn't work for them. So they're gonna have to come look for a result. They have to come forward, and Benfica will catch these guys napping. And it was the total opposite of that. We saw Benfica disinterested in the game. We saw Benfica that we often come out here and we talk about trap games, and because play these smaller teams and they start looking ahead to, because we talked about Rio Ave, as a matter of fact. We said, the Benfica players could have been looking ahead to the Porto game, the Inter game, that they might have, not really paid much attention to this Rio Ave team. They did just enough to come away with the 1-0 victory. And we thought we were going to see a very focused, I should say, a very committed team, a team that was going to look around and see the outpour of support by the fans outside the stadium, in the stadium. And I know there's been a lot of criticism of that. We'll get into that in a second. But it was just the total opposite. The team just looked like it was uninterested throughout most of that game. And it never felt that there's urgency. It felt as if to them it was just another game. But the one thing I often talk about is when Benfica plays Porto, it doesn't matter if it's in Supertaças, it doesn't matter what the hell they play in. Porto treats these Benfica-Porto, Porto-Benfica games as a matter of life or death. And Benfica treated this game, once again, it seemed to me, at least on my couch, as just a walk in the park. We're too cool for school. We're 10 points up. That alone should be enough to win this game. We score an early goal. We're going to put these guys to bed. And then just the attitude went out the building from the players to the fans. And I understand there's people I respect dearly that have commented on the whole situation, that the fans, they need to be lively. They need to support this team more. And even though I agree with that statement, and I do, right, ultimately agree with it, but at the same time, I think that the fans felt that nervosíssimo. They felt that they seen the shit stains come down the players' legs when they saw Porto in front of them. And I think that the players projected that to the fans. I mean, this is not a one-off occasion. This is year after year after year that this team sees the team in blue and white across from them, and it's like they just shut down. It's totally nothing that we've seen throughout the regular season, throughout the whole year. And then it's when you come into these big games at the start to lose, the team just, I don't know, man, they go into panic mode.
Yeah, there's a few things that I wanted to talk about. Number one, did Roger Schmidt really prepare the team well for this game? And I know that you already had the experience of playing up at the Dragão, so you should have been used to that. But did he prepare the team, or did he just tell the team, go out there, play like you have been and like and the game will come to us? And maybe after that one goal, the team relaxed a little bit, or they felt, or they were even a little conceited in terms of, we got this, we're a better team, we could play better. And they just relaxed a little bit.
But for the last 7, 8 months, we've come on here and we praised Roger Schmidt for having this team's mentality prepared for games and whatnot. And if that was the message that he portrayed to the team, that's the wrong message, man.
Yeah,
that's the wrong because as the Benfica coach, bro, you gotta beat Futebol Clube Porto at everything.
You gotta say, look, these motherfuckers are gonna come in.
You can't say, oh, it's not another game. And until we change that chip, we're going to find ourselves on the short end of the stick. It's always going to be the same outcome because it's not just another game. It's not. This game, it could have been.
Should be the game.
Not only was it a rivalry game with guys that are ready to eat you alive, but it was a game that could have pretty much clinched the title, which would have given you the luxury of hopefully performing, and we'll get into that, in the European stage and resting players but no, because we can never do anything right. It can never be easy. We have to play it down.
Sweat it out.
We can't come out and say, no, Futebol Clube Porto, this is a huge game. Why? We're too cool to admit that?
No, I don't know, but and people always say that the way Porto looks at these games and the way we look at the game, for us, is just another game. For Porto, It's the game.
Bro, when
It's the
these
game.
when these guys report, right, the season, as we all know, season's over, new calendar starts off as of July 1st. It's a new season. June 30th, contracts expired. July 1st is a new season. That's the kickoff to some teams report July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, whatever it may be. When these guys report to, oh my God, what's it called? What are they training facility called? We have
Olival.
Olival. When these guys report to Olival, they don't know at that time the league schedule is not out yet. But when these teams get together for preseason, they come out with objectives for this year. The objective is to do this, to accomplish. We want to do this, right? And I guarantee you, I've never been in their locker room, but I guarantee you, the first two things on that freaking chalkboard is beat Benfica at home, beat Benfica on the road. That's it. That's their before knowing when they play them, how they play them. It's the one objective. And then after that, like, okay, boys, we want to win the title. We want to reach the quarters of the Champions League. We want to win the Taça Portugal. But the first objective that these guys put out is to beat Benfica.
Because they know if they beat Benfica, they're much closer to winning the title. So that's why the game against Benfica, not only for the rivalry, but that's why it's so important, because Porto really looks at Benfica as their main opponents, as their main adversaries. And I think that Benfica doesn't look at it like that, because if they did, then they would be approaching the game in a different manner. For Porto, this was a game of life or death. And regardless of whether they're 10 points back, and regardless of whether they think that they have a chance, their whole intention was to come to Estádio da Luz and embarrass and play Benfica out of the park. Roger Schmidt was outcoached. The team was outplayed. And quite frankly, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to see. And shame on me, right? Shame on me for getting all hyped up about this Benfica team. They've been doing so well, playing such beautiful type football for most of the season, and thinking that this was going to be a walk in the park, that we were going to win this game. I remember you walking in here, and even you called me in the morning, and you told me you were nervous. And I said, I'm not nervous.
You ragged on me when you got to my house.
I said, I'm not nervous. I'm confident. I'm very confident. And shame on me for me and millions of others of being so confident that Benfica was going to do their job, only to be embarrassed and only to be ridiculed by not only Porto players, but the Porto coaching staff, Porto fans. They're all ridiculing us. Did we really deserve? Did we deserve this?
And I think, bro, as much as it pains me every time Benfica loses any game, right? But as much as it pained me to lose this game on Friday, and then on top of it, bro, should have been on fucking Sunday, because Friday messed up my whole weekend. You know what I mean?
Set the tone.
It's like I'm done. Like the whole and then it was on Good Friday. There was nothing good about that Friday.
There's nothing good about Good Friday. It was
nothing good about that. But as much as it pains me to lose these games, bro, it's just this right after the game. Pinto Costa gives an interview and calls Estádio da Luz Salonfest. And like, bro,
that's what I'm saying. We were ridiculed.
Guys. I need to make the phone call to Rui Costa. I need these mofos to let me in the locker room before one of these classics. And I'm gonna bring my laptop and my iPad and I'm gonna fucking print out every little stupid saying that these guys have been saying over the years, and I'm just gonna plaster them all over the freaking locker room, and I'm gonna show them these videos, because if this shit doesn't enrage a Benfica player, that they're being mocked, that they're being clowned about their own home, bro, I don't want you on my club if this shit doesn't get your blood boiling.
It doesn't get them fired up. It gets them scared. They get more. It's fight or flight, and these guys decide to
flight.
To flight half the time. It's the same.
They did
group
like
of guys.
Victoria and just flew away.
Yeah, how many years?
Too many, Dave.
It's too many years, and they've been playing good football this year, and we've all been praising the team. But the majority of the guys are still there that have collapsed in the past, right? So like Alfredo, you said, shame on you, shame on me, shame on all of us for thinking something different. I was in the Cristiano camp. I was nervous going into the game.
Hugo was nervous too.
Past trauma. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You guys say Porto looks at us as their direct competitors and they treat this as life and death, but even in years where Porto is running away with the title, 20 points up, 15 points
They
up,
don't take their foot off the gas.
Exactly.
When they play us, I'm saying. Yes.
Exactly. They still take this as life and death, and we're so intimidated by them. I think they got to invest a lot of money into a psychologist for these teams, because this is years and years of trauma and PTSD, like the episode says, right?
Yeah,
So,
but Dave, the scary thing is that this is a turnover in coach and players. Coaches play, and it's there, bro. This is ingrained in Futebol Clube do Porto. They know, they could lose every other game. If they're gonna win 2 games a year, it's those 2 games. That's it. And Benfica needs to have that same mentality. We need to understand that beating these guys and kind of bringing back the confidence into the locker room, bringing back confidence into the fans. Also, when you're talking about players that want to play in Champions League football and whatnot. When the schedule comes out, man, come on, guys. Even Benfica, these are the games everybody wants to play in. They're not, we play Gil Vicente. And we love Gil Vicente. We play it all. Man, come on, bro. These are the games on the schedule that get circled.
Yeah.
But yeah, to us fans, right, we circle them. Right? Yo, when is Benfica? Yo, let's check flights. What's up? We're going, when does it fall? Let's go to Portugal. Bro, even us as fans, and now to come out of here and poo-poo this like it doesn't matter because we got a 10-point lead, that's just asinine. We need to make these games important. We need to start winning at our house, defending your house. We play a bunch of freaking mongoose throughout the year. These players start reading the press clippings. Everything is smooth. Benfica is the best team in the world. They play world football. Look at Zinedine Zidane and so and Ancelotti and Antalotti and Patalotti. Everybody's saying Benfica is a team to be worried about. You don't mess with them. That's fine. That's beautiful. I love positive press, especially around the globe. But then, guys, you have to show up when it matters. When the lights come on, you have to show up and perform.
Yep. You gotta transcend, and you gotta outdo yourself because the next team that you're going to play has watched hours and hours of video on you all season. Roger Schmidt's tactics and dynamics are great. I'm a supporter. I'm a fan. I love his tactics. I love him as a coach. But at some point, he has to understand that people are going to catch up to him, that people are going to single out certain aspects of the game, and they're going to defend that.
See, you say you love his tactics, and I feel bad. Rewind the tape. Go back to last week's podcast, guys. What's today? 481? Go back into 480. And I sit on here. I look like a dummy by coming on here and complaining about some of his tactical things, his choices, his lineups, because the team is winning and everybody's going to tell me kick rocks. You don't know what you're talking about. But I commented then. I have a huge problem. I do, guys, and I'm sorry. You can call me stupid all you want. That's fine. But I have a huge problem when my team plays with 2 guys who have been, throughout their whole careers, interior guys, right? Arsenis and João Mario, played in the middle of the park. All of a sudden, I got these guys at wing. They don't have the ability to beat anybody with pace or with Jenga. It makes no sense. I understand on the defensive side of the balls, but guys, we forgot about the offensive side of the ball. We got to score goals as well. And I know in the Tugão, it's served as well. We've played well against PSG in the whole 9, but at some point, it was going to cost you. In the last 2 games, it's not been pretty. Rafa, MIA in this game.
MIA
against Rafa's been
Antonio Silva was the worst game I've seen the kid play against Futebol do Porto.
Against Porto.
We're talking Porto still.
Okay, yeah.
Vlaco Dimos, my man. My man.
Vlaco Dimos.
Be careful. Be careful.
For
That's
this.
our goalie for the next decade. Be
Alexander
careful.
Bach gets injured on a Uribe tackle. He sprained his MCL, whatever it is. He's going to be out for at least 4 weeks or whatever. I mean, you talk about coming in at the most inopportune time. I mean, this is just Porto came in, ate your chicken, smashed your chick, left the door open, and went to brag about it on Instagram. That's what they did afterwards, bro.
Oh, a classic.
Not only him, but the president, too.
Everybody. They were all bragging because you know what? They got no respect for us. They don't care.
We're Porto's bitch.
And now Baz out, which forces a substitution. Gilberto comes in, and we know Gilberto could look like Gilberto Carlos, or he could look like some pedestrian right back from the third division in Portugal. Things could go well, they may not go well. And then Roger Schmidt sat there, falls asleep until he brings in Neres. And again, goes by with the lullaby. And I understand he's done a lot of things well, but at some point we got to start looking at this guy like, yo, we hear so much talk that, no, Benfica ain't going to strengthen their midfield because Roger Schmidt told Rui Costa that the guys who were here are good enough. I believe in them. And now, I mean, if you want to just throw in today's game already, the guy makes one substitution. The guy doesn't even look at his bench. So how happy could he be with his options?
Well, if
he's not using them.
And that's the thing, right?
He brings in the fabulous, what's his name, Peter Musa, with like 3 minutes to go in that game against Porto, which is like bringing in, a cinder block.
But that's the thing, right? The thing is that there's clearly a core of players, the 12, 13 players that he trusts, right? That he could look at the bench and said, I will put him in, and he's going to go in there and make a difference. The rest are garbage, right? The rest, it doesn't seem like they count for him because he never makes any substitutions. I think they asked him today, and he said, I didn't feel that we needed to make substitution because the team was playing. But anyway, I thought that he was outcoached. I thought that he didn't make the right substitutions for.
Why is that Sergio Conceição every time he plays Benfica? He looks like freaking Bella.
Well, he outcoached him. He outcoached JJ last time.
That's what I'm saying. He looks like Bella Gutman.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that maybe in the second half that he would bring Neres in against Porto, change some things around. We were being overmatched in the midfield, right? Because that's Porto pressed us, but not only did they press us, they took away the pockets that we'd like to play in, the in-between lines. And of course, if you watch a Roger Schmidt team, you know that the trick and the secret is you get guys popping in space behind guys, behind lines, in little pockets of space where you could play a combination ball off of. And if you take those spaces, now these guys are no longer an option for a pass, or they have to move into another area.
And then our goalkeeper, which is the roving sweeper with his feet, is
right. And so a team presses us high, we go back to the keeper, and every ball that goes back to the keeper, it's either a 50-50 ball or it's a ball into the stands. So go figure that out.
Or turnover possession.
But the thing is that I think that at this point, the biggest fault that I see in Roger Schmidt, and look, I don't know if the reason is because he doesn't have the players that he wants. But I think that he doesn't have a plan B. He has a plan A, and the plan A has been working.
It's real simple.
But when shit goes awry, he doesn't have a plan B.
It's real simple. Send Chiquinho's bum ass to the bench. Play Arsenal's in the middle, Florentino. Bring in Neres. Rafa on one side. Put João Mario in the middle. And now you got two guys to attack and just go all day. You got one guy on one side that could get to you with his pace and with his ability, with his Ginga. And you got another guy just like a wide receiver. Run the goal route with João Mario. And now you're putting pressure on the opposition because the opposition now can't push out because they know that you at any time could catch him napping. Instead, they know, guys, João Mario. I mean, you see João Mario on a one-on-one going on a counter, he turns around because he doesn't have the ability to beat him with his pace. Come on, bro. And it's like, and I'm not trying to be critical. We're talking about a team that still has a 7-point lead. We're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Right. Whether we like it or not, down 2-0, but we still have an opportunity to turn things around. We're still alive. And I guess there's been a lot of positive things. But again, guys, I get it.
You guys get content with beating up on the Mongols. And yes, we have to beat up the Mongols in order to get to the promised land, in order to get to where we want to get, which is lifting titles. But at the end of the day, I want some pride. I want to be able to beat these motherfuckers and just, oh my God, it's curse. Beat these mofos. That's what I was trying to say. Right? I want to be able to beat these guys and I have these guys laughing at my face. I want to be able to sit back with my feet up and just enjoying it.
Yeah. I think that the biggest thing that I'm upset about, and I have no doubts that Benfica is going to win this title. It didn't need,
Benfica ties this game on Saturday against Shops. My man,
I have no doubts that Benfica will win this title. The thing that it upsets me is I feel that we've been shortchanged by this team, especially in this game against Porto, where we have been basically outplayed, outcoached, ridiculed by their 165-year-old president that doesn't even that's senile and doesn't even say the right things. That is worse than Joe Biden. But
that takes a lot.
The thing is that I just feel that the team really let me down. I feel that the team really let me down against Porto. No mexes.
I want to move it. I'm trying to see if I can see Dave. Okay.
That the team has really let me down, and we were embarrassed once again.
Nah, man, but where are these players, man? We're talking about national team players. Players are supposed to be high caliber. I mean, and they go missing, and it's just, I see blame being thrown all over the place by everybody, but the players. I mean, at the end of the day, they're the gladiators. They're the guys that we come to see. They're the guys that perform. They have to perform regardless of what you and I do.
You can't.
Fuck. You know, you got these players that are making nice money that are overhyped. The fans go goo-goo gaga because they do a little spinorama move in the midfield with nobody around them, and everybody looks wonderful. But then when there's somebody around them, they shit their pants. And it's turnover after turnover. And at the end of the day, Benfica needs to be better, guys. And I'm sorry, some of you are going to get pissed off because I'm always complaining. Yes, I'm a perfectionist, at least when it comes to soccer. And everything else, I don't give it. But in soccer, bro, if my team wins 7-0, I want it to win 8. If they win 8, I want it to win 9. You could always do better. And I see this team, there's flaws. There's been many flaws. But everybody gets content with beating up on the Tugão teams that they forget that, you know, at the end of the day, we need to be better European-wise. We need to really show up against our main competitors. We played Braga. How'd that work out? 3-0 deficit. We beat Porto there. Fine. We beat them there. That was a terrific victory. 1-0. Come back and lose 2-1. We played Sporting. What was the outcome at the lose?
Tie.
We tied, right?
2-2.
But it was one of those ties that we struggled. Sporting was a better team, correct?
No.
What do you mean no? I think so.
No.
Am I going crazy? Dave, am I going crazy?
Sporting. Oh, I'm trying
No,
to remember.
but
Sporting.
Then I'm thinking of a
we
different
came
game.
back on Sporting every time. They were up 1-0. We tied 1-1. They went 2-1, and we went 2-2.
But it's not like we ever tried pulling away from that game either.
No. Look, I think that aside from the Champions League group stages, right, you could say that anytime Benfica has faced good opposition domestically, Benfica have struggled. We lost against Braga. We tied Sporting. We now lost to Porto.
We split with Porto.
The first game, had it not been for that player that got thrown out for Porto,
Eustáquio,
and us playing with 10, playing with against 10 guys for most of the game, we probably don't pull out that win.
I don't know. But the fact is that they did, and they played on the road. Benfica was smart. Roger Schmidt that day was to be commended because he had 4 players in the first half with yellows, subbed them all off, left Arsenis in, the only one with a yellow. Benfica, look, that day, Benfica, we were all pleased. It wasn't a spectacular game by any stretch of the imagination, but we went there. We played.
3 points.
We got the victory. It didn't matter. And I think Benfica should have applied some of those tactics in this game on Friday, which is, guys, we want to play for the win. But at the bare minimum, we need to get out of here with a draw because with a draw, bro, you're pretty much at the beach
and
walking on a path to a title.
The thing is that Roger Schmidt in that first game, he understood what Porto were about. But this, I think he failed miserably to understand what Porto were about this game. And I hope that it's a huge lesson for him.
We sat here last year, if you guys recall, when Benfica comes to the Dragão and they beat us, we said, it seems as if Sergio Conceição, when he plays Benfica, becomes this monster coach, and they must watch video. They come up with great tactics. They know how to shut down Benfica. They know how to counter Benfica's weaknesses and strengths, the whole nine. And here we are once again. They came in with the blueprint how to beat us.
Yeah.
A team that we play on Tuesday went ahead and took the same blueprint.
I was just gonna say, then it just gives the blueprint to any other coach now.
Yeah.
So,
And Roger Schmidt needs to change.
Yeah.
This team was performing out of this world, lights out, with David Neres as a starter. And his insistence on playing Neres on the wing and playing freaking Chiquinho is all of a sudden leaving Benfica's best. I mean, the guy, you could argue he's your best player. When he comes on, it's a totally different game. Even against Porto,
makes a difference.
He makes a difference. You can tell he's the one player that sticks out like a sore thumb because he is unlike everybody else on the field. And yet, Roger Schmidt waited until what was the
56th minute.
56th minute against Porto. And then we'll talk about today. Today it was even longer. And he's just like, Roger, what are you waiting on?
64th minute.
What are you waiting on? What you went to be down 3-0 to 3-0? So now this guy come out and create miracles? That's my only criticism of Roger Schmidt.
Yeah, I don't
He takes
understand.
way too long. And I guys need to stop talking about this crap that no criou reforços. Bro, again, forget about what I say, what they say. Use your own goddamn eyes and look at it. What's he doing? Is he trusting his bench? Dave, does that look like a coach that trusts his bench? And does that look like a coach that doesn't want reforços?
either that, or is he being like stubborn and hard-headed? Because there comes a time that you can see it, I can see, we can all see it, that this team needs some sort of change in there. Even if you don't have the trust of the guy, I'm using a guy like João Neves and Sheldrup, right? You know that these guys have a little bit of Jenga and some creativity, and these last two games, that's where we struggled. We had no creativity in creating any scoring opportunities. So if you can't try, like, we're not calling them to start games where it's later on in the game when you need that chance. And if you're already down, what's the worst?
Yeah.
We go down 3-1 now against Porto. We go down 3-0 against Inter, right? Like, we need goals. We need to be creative here. And if it comes down to not trusting these players, then I think that's on Roger. Roger Schmidt's gotta own that.
Yeah, let me play something here, see if you guys could hear this.
This is I'm speaking of Benfiquistas all over the world, from the heart. And if you don't speak English, get a translator. But it's very important what I'm going to say to you now. Right? Here's my thing about why I think Benfica needs to do. And again, when I'm talking about needs to go out there and strengthen themselves, I'm not talking about going and spending $100 million like we do in an offseason. No, but we need some crucial signings, because here's the reality. This is the way I look at it. That you can find yourself beating Club Brugge, getting a favorable draw, and before you blink, you're in the semifinals with an opportunity to go to the final. And now you didn't strengthen yourself because you think, and now your options are Chiquinho and Diogo Gonçalves. That's why you have to do it. I'm sorry, guys. You calling me crazy? Am I right or wrong?
You're 100%.
I don't know who that guy is, but I like him.
This is
And it sounded a little gibberish because there was a couple cuss words and you got to edit it. So
yeah, this was Cristiano on 12:21.
That guy's a smart guy. I don't know who he is, but he's a smart
12:21.
guy.
He was saying that, and look. Anyway,
Did you guys hear that? In the chat?
maybe
Wait,
next.
check the Freddies because maybe they didn't hear it.
The Freddy's heard it.
I don't know. And nobody.
Freddy's,
commented.
did you hear it?
I mean, he got a comment from Diogo Reis. This guy cracks me up. Let me tell you, this guy, if I'm ever down, I got to call him up because he'll cheer me. He says, things are so bad, we're all agreeing with Chris tonight.
For this.
And he has a request.
I love you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus.
It is, Diogo. That's for you, bro. I love you,
Jesus
bro.
is on the way to Flamengo.
Yeah,
He's coming home.
Anyway,
Jesus
look,
has risen.
it could have been 13 points. Instead, it's 7 points. Like I said, I think we still pull this through, but we really didn't. We really didn't need this. I mean, and at the end of the season, you're gonna look back and say, well, you're gonna kind of forget. You're gonna put this game in the back of your mind and just think about the title at the end of the day, I think. But
Let's get there, bro.
Dave,
let's get there first.
You got some numbers so we can move on?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna go on strike and not give any
All right, then
stats
don't give
after
any
these.
stats. I don't
No,
care.
no, I mean, what do we got here? They're all depressing stats anyways.
Just pull up Benfica. Don't
Nah,
show up.
But
Benfica haven't beaten Porto at the Estádio da Luz since 2018, since my boy
Fucking shit.
Seferovic scored one on them. So 1 draw, 3 losses during that span. The last 11 against Porto, minus that win earlier this season, it's 1 win, 2 draws, 8 losses. So depressing Porto stats. And the only bright spot was that Gonzalo Ramos goal at the beginning of the game, his 25th of the year, 17th in league competition, and tied with João Mario for league leader in goals.
and I got to mention that Tino did pick up a yellow in this game, which means he misses the next
No,
one.
he did not.
I thought he picked up a yellow.
Oh, against Porto?
Yes.
Yeah, against
Yes,
Porto.
yes,
Yeah,
he did.
not against. He was
No, I'm
at
talking
risk
about- We're
against
still talking about Porto.
against Inter.
Which that was his 5th yellow, so now
me,
he misses the next game against
So that means
Chaves.
Chiquinho is still in there.
How is he? Oh yeah, but
Jesus Christ, Dave.
Let me just. I want to say
I
something.
lost my train of thought.
I want to say something, and this is a.
As you're thinking about what you're saying, I want to say what's up to Bruno Teixeira. He says hello from Argentina. Oye, boludo. Hey, boludo.
No, look. I think that after this game, there was a lot of frustration. And it's impossible not to be a Benfiquista and not be frustrated about the results. But there was something, there was a topic circulating on the internet and on, the socials about fan involvement in this game against Porto, right? And you can look at it 2 ways, right? You can look at the aspect that the team or the fans see that the team is struggling, and they will on their own motivate, sing, chant to the team, right, during the game. Apparently, that wasn't the case against Porto. But the other way you can look at it is that the product that was being put on the field, the attitude that was being put on the field by players wasn't really a product that would motivate people to motivate the team or sing for the team. There's 2 ways that you can look at it, but there's a big thing about, well, there's too many red passes and people, they sell red passes or they go there and they're just taking selfies, blah, 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 blah. And there's no fan culture. And I got news for you. This is what the modern fan culture is.
Bro, the people pay their money. They're entitled to go in and do what
They
the hell
do
they
whatever the
want,
fuck
whether
they
you like
want.
it or not. I mean, look, I get it. We all want fans standing on their feet the whole game and cheering and the whole nine. I get it. I understand all that. I'm one that calls for that myself, right? We want the Inferno to lose back. I understand all that. But at the same time, man, I think it's so easy to come on here and point the fingers at the fans as if the players aren't at fault. And I respect the hell out of the people that, were making those points 100,000%. I mean, there's some of my favorite people in this whole world. But at the end of the day, man, the players, they project the confidence into the stands as well. If these guys are performing and they don't show this year after year, and especially this one game against this one opponent, that they're not scared and not shitting all down their freaking legs, I think the fans might stop. They won't have that reservation in them to stop, cheering. When things start going bad, it's not as if all of a sudden this team is going to, step up and match their opponent face to face. And I think the fans feel a lot of that, man. And I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody, but at the end of the day, the players are the gladiators. They're the ones that have to be out there performing, because when they're on the road, the whole crowd's not cheering for them, and they have to perform.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
this one wasn't on the fans. The only fans that I would have to criticize that I saw were the ones that were leaving at like the 80th minute mark when there were still 10 minutes to go. It's Good Friday. Where the hell do you have to be on a Friday afternoon?
maybe you gotta
It's
go to
not like
mass.
you've
I
got
don't
to-
know.
They got to go to the Padrino's house and get the flood, bro.
Dude,
No,
look,
those are the only fans that need to be criticized. But other than that, this is on the players. This is not on the fans.
Look, I understand the feeling about there's some fans that think that the atmosphere of Stade Luge has lost a lot of what not only the beginning of Stade de Luz had, but also the old Stade de Luz. You can never recapture that. The fan culture is completely different these days
Yes, the
than it was
policing of
back
things.
then.
You can't bring flags. You can't bring
Right.
tambors. You can't do the things that a lot of these old fans, these old stadiums were allowed to do. So I think that plays a part in it as well, Alfredo.
It does. It plays a part, and you got to understand the kind of crowds that now go to the stadium.
Well, Benfica made sure, I know they've announced this over the last 2 off seasons or 3 now, that they have phenomenal Wi-Fi. So they're telling you to get on your gadgets and not watch the game and support.
Hey, how about that DJ? Did he play on Friday?
Hey, the
That
DJ did a good job. The DJ did. I gotta
think
give
the
it
DJ
up.
does a good job because
DJ did
he
a good
he
job.
goes in between,
DJ Kamala.
getting the crowd going and like muting the music while the crowd sings and just pumping up. He's a hype man. He's great. He's great. Anyway, but there's 2 ways to look at it, and I don't think you could blame this on the fans.
Continues here. He says, "Good evening, gents. Are we still criticizing fans if they leave before the final whistle? Meu Deus."
Look,
I could care less.
I think that
I mean,
people
I-
pay
I-
their tickets. They're allowed to.
No, I'm not going to front. I'm not going to BS anybody. I'd rather they stay and support the team to the very end. But I went to a game years ago, Portuguese national team game at the Stade de Luz, and I had to go back up north that day, right? And my last train to go up north was like the last train. And I didn't have the luxury to sit around, Dave, and celebrate. It was like the final whistle went off, bro, and I started running to get to the train, or else I wouldn't have been home for the next day. Now, at the time, I didn't know, because it was like this is when I started really going to Portugal and watching games on my own and the whole nine. But I didn't know a lot of people there yet, at least in Lisbon yet. And I know I could have gotten a hotel room, but it's different. I wanted to go back home, be with the family. I have so many limited days that I'm with the family throughout the year. So I wanted to make sure I spent the night with them, woke up, had breakfast the whole night. And it was difficult. So I had to leave. I didn't leave before the final whistle, but as soon as the final whistle went off, Dave, I was out the door sprinting. So some people have to get home. There's games that start at 8 o'clock at night. At 9 o'clock at night, which means they end at 11. They got to drive from Lisboa to Minho. 4-hour drive, 4.5 hours. I mean, I can't criticize them people. Just being honest. But now, would I rather they stick around? Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes it for a much better atmosphere. It makes it better for the stadium. But everybody has their story. And everybody has their reasons.
Yeah, you can't get down on people. Anyway, look, I thought I'd bring that up because I felt that there was an argument being made against the fans, but also, if the team is not putting out a good product, as fans, you feel discouraged by the team. And it's every fucking time against Porto. Eles comem cebulada. It's awful. It's awful. You know what I need to? I need you to see if you can get me the charger for your pad.
For this?
Yeah, because I'm at 14%.
Uh-oh. Don't leave, Freddy's. I'll be right back.
I don't want to screw up the podcast. Anyway, let's turn our attention now to the game against Inter while Cristiano goes and retrieves me a charger. He's such a good friend of mine. Inter. Everybody, here's the thing. I was really excited about this game because I really felt that after the display on Friday, that I felt that the team really felt bad about what had transpired and that they were going to do much better against Inter in this game. So I was encouraged. I was encouraged by the game. I thought that Benfica was going to do really well against Inter. We had been previewing the game here, and we felt that this was an Inter that was very accessible to us. And little did we know that we come into this game, and we faced an Inter team that not only was a lot more experienced than us by their age. Their average age is higher than ours. But they were very comfortable throughout the game, and Benfica couldn't do anything. And when I talk about that Roger Schmidt lacks that plan B, this is another instance where you can't get anything going. You got.
Well, we had two changes, two forced changes. As I mentioned before, Gilberto
Otamendi is a huge miss.
And Otamendi is replaced by Morato, who I didn't think had a bad game at all. I thought he's, but I'm expecting Otamendi. I thought he did what he had to do. But yeah, those are the only two changes. Besides that, same exact lineup,
Same exact style.
from what we've seen, same exact style. Inter had the what do you call it? The plan, the master plan,
Yeah, the master plan.
The blueprint.
the blueprint from
Porto.
Porto on Friday. We knew that they were going to come in to start to lose and play on a counter because at the end of the day, they've been reading all the press clippings that Benfica is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And so, you know what? We're going to try to minimize the damage and then come home
Yeah.
and handle business at home because that's how every team has always handled things. We handle our business in our building, except Benfica against Porto. Everybody else thinks like that. Okay?
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
They gave us possession, and they were just comfortable defending.
we
And they said, "Well, we keep you in front of us, and the ball in front of us, you're not going to cause any danger." And I remember Onana making what, maybe 2-3 saves.
Onana made the one save on Rafa early on when Rafa
But
shoots
like
straight
he-
at him, hits him in the chest.
Parried it with his chest.
And I think in the first half,
He makes it. He makes
you're
an.
supposed to have the stats.
Oh, he makes the save on Ramos at the end of the game.
No, that's the end of the game. I'm talking about in the first half still. Bro,
In the first half.
the people want to talk about the whole game. You're like, first save, 5 minutes
No, I'm
in.
just
and
saying,
then
in
94th
general,
minute.
in general, it doesn't matter.
No, in
We
general,
don't
I
need
mean,
to go into detail.
Again, another game that Benfica didn't create much. João Mario out there walking. Arsenal's not creating much.
And when you create,
Chiquinho turning the ball over left and right. Then he did two pirouettes in the middle of the field.
he
Now
wasn't
looks
the
like
only
the
one.
greatest thing ever.
I thought Arsenal had a pretty
Rafa-
bad game also.
I just mentioned Arsenal. Rafa was nowhere to be found. Gonzalo Ramos as good as he can be,
Worst
and as
game
lethal
I've
as he
seen
could
this
be.
season.
Gonzalo outside the box really offers you not much to be nice. Grimaldo defending, we all knew what he was, and you saw on their goal, they come down the left, attack the second post where
Yeah, but
Grimaldo was supposed to be.
he was outnumbered.
That was his man.
He was outnumbered.
That was his man.
He was outnumbered.
I don't care. That's his man.
That's more on João Mario.
He's got three.
for not
You got
making that
three
tackle
three
there
guys
for-
on one
The
guy.
guys on
challenge.
you worry about the guy closest to the goal. The guy on the outside will be picked up by somebody else. You as a defender come in, get yourself in between the player, the post, and the ball. That's it. That's your job. And he was late. That's it. I mean, again, with the excuses for these Benfica players, I hate this. Oh, man. Bro, fine. Do your job defending and worry about scoring goals later. He's more worried about putting up the numbers because maybe he's on a walk here, right? I don't know what it is. But it was one of those games, bro. Again, back to back, very similar to what we've seen the game before. Inter was always going to come in and play this tough physical game and defend and grind us down, just like Porto did. They didn't create as many chances as Porto did, but again, the same outcome. And this was actually worse outcome. And a very lackadaisical Benfica. I saw in this game today, I was actually tweeting this out in the 90th minute, whatever the hell it was, or 94th minute, where Benfica's trailing 2-0 in a game that is ultra important, and there was no urgency. And it's just that, as I'm about to tweet that out, Gonzalo Ramos comes in and does, that scoring opportunity. The Ronaldo goes down and gets and saves it for really the last kick of the game or whatever it might have been. But again, the urgency was not there. Roger Schmidt, who we all love, and again, same type of criticism in game one against Porto, took too long to make substitutions. And then he gets Gonçalo Guedes and Musa in the 90th minute.
He tells him to go sit down, then tell him to go back in.
If that was me, I'd tell the coach, meu amigo.
No, he's not pode fazer isso.
Bro, you can't.
You're a fucking professional, bro.
How do
you
you-
can't do that.
Ready? How do you do that to a Gonçalo Ramos that's coming off an injury who can get up, get down, get up, get down? Guedes, I'm sorry.
Him and
No,
Musa.
Gonçalo. Musa, who cares? If he gets hurt, nobody cares. But Gonçalo Guedes, a guy that's coming off an injury, get up, get down, get up. Yo, you could very easily re-injure something.
You think so?
What do you mean you think so? Absolutely.
By what? Warming up? Stopping warming up again?
That's why they call it warming up. And they warm up and you go to the game kint. You don't warm up, sit down for 20 minutes, then go to the game cold. What's the point of warming up?
That was odd. That was very, very odd.
So I'll be Roger
Very
Schmidt.
odd by Roger
Roger Schmidt signs an extension. I don't know why. What was the? And again, I want him. I want Roger Schmidt to be around. Don't get me wrong. I'm in no rush to get rid of him.
You keep him honest.
What was? What? I don't think the guy. What's he doing? Go to
But
sabotage.
you keep him honest. He's not due yet for a renewal. Let him win the title, and then you renewal. And I get it that the renewal, a lot of it behind it was to protect him, or from being taken from one of the big clubs, right? I do get that. But now you look back and he signs the renewal and he hasn't won a game yet since the renewal.
No, he
Bella
won,
Gutman.
won against Rio Ave.
Oh, was it before Rio Ave?
Oh,
Yeah,
Dave,
yeah.
and that's one you might not want to brag about.
Arguments for what was happening. And we've seen Roger touch the team and touch it well and do good things with the changes that he makes. But these past couple games, and it's like he puts in Neres Fatino against Porto, same exact substitution that he did against Inter in this game. Just a
And
little,
I didn't think
just
Tino
a little
had
later.
bad game.
No, look, I people are saying, he was on a yellow card, blah, 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 blah. But I think the fact of the matter is that we were struggling in winning balls in that midfield, and Tino was the only one that was really doing that.
Yep.
And he's the one guy that could cover a lot of ground. And he takes Tino, and the minute he takes Tino, and I understand that you put an offensive player on, but the minute you take, it seems that Inter now can come through our midfield easier. And that's how I felt as I was watching this game. And it was it's just one of those things, man. I'm struggling with what Roger Schmidt is thinking. And even though in the past he has made a lot of moves that have made me happy, that would have been the moves that I would have made. And look, I'm no coach. I got no coaching license whatsoever. But there's a lot of things that you see as if you're a fan of the sport and you know anything about the sport that you understand and you know what needs to be done in order to make a change. And I don't understand. I don't understand this passiveness from Roger Schmidt in terms of doing something, in terms of changing something. And you can make the argument that he looks at his bench and maybe he doesn't trust anybody on his bench. And maybe that's the problem. And maybe that's the problem, that he doesn't trust anybody on the bench. And I don't know. And quite honestly, I felt that towards the end of the game, the team looked fatigued.
Oh, for sure. And that's the only downside of playing Roger ball or Roger Schmidt style of football is that he demands that high press, that high intensity, and we're here in April now, right? And squad rotation hasn't been a thing for Roger Schmidt throughout the year, and who knows? Maybe the players are gassed, maybe they are fatigued, and this is when you should be utilizing your bench. And if he's lost or doesn't have any faith in his players that he has on the bench, like I'm just looking at who we had on the bench today, João Neves, who he has used in the past, I mean, for 1 or 2 minutes, but he's not even getting those 1 or 2 minutes now. Tankstad and Musa, you can swap either one of them out. We really don't play well when we play up with two strikers. Gedge is just coming back from injury, and the key that just frustrates me and wants me to pull out my hair is this Sheldrup kid. We've seen that he has Jinga and he has that creativity, and maybe he's a liability defensively, but like we said, like we're at the end of the game here. We're already down 2-0. We need to go and get that goal. He's a player that can come in and change and give the team a different look at least, and try to create something offensively. And I don't know. We've been trusting Roger up until this point, so maybe we still got to do in Roger we trust. But lately, he's been getting the substitutions wrong, or lack thereof of substitutions. They've all just been wrong.
Look, I don't want to criticize the signing of the two Viking kids, right? Sheldrup.
No, they're a project.
That might be a good signing for the future, and these guys could still turn out to be phenomenal players. But the timing of these signings, right,
would have led you to assume that,
or you could have still signed these guys, but you needed to reinforce this squad today, not in 6 months where these kids might be ready then. This squad needed fresh blood, and it didn't get that. We all hope that these kids will be playing it by now, but the fact is we've had comfortable leads where Roger chose not to play these kids, not give anybody any type of experience. And so now that bench, I don't care if it has 9 players on the bench in Champions League days, but it's very, very thin. And again, I'm cool with these signings, but they should have still brought in another 1 or 2 players to inject into this team. Fact of the matter is, you take out Florentino, you don't have a defensive center mid. You don't have another defensive center mid on this team. No, forget. You don't even have to be a destroyer. Just a guy who's a natural defensive center mid.
Yep.
You don't have it. You're lacking many positions. The fact is, you brought Tankstad, and still your backup is Musa, which we all knew from the first half that he wasn't good enough. So, again, I don't want to criticize the signing of these guys, but if these guys were not going to be ready this year, that's fine. Bring them in. Let them play on the B team. Let them get acclimated to Portugal and the whole nine. But you needed new players to give this team some fresh blood.
I get it. And, Michael Gonçalves continues saying that Neres took off his shirt and headed down the tunnel, and Luizão tried to get him, but he couldn't get him. Look, I'd be upset too. I'd be upset too if I was Neres. Because you're a player that will start on most teams. Would you agree?
I don't know about most teams, but a lot of teams.
A lot of teams.
Yeah, he'll start on
In
every
the Portuguese league.
Oh, every team.
Every single team.
Yes.
But he doesn't start at Benfica.
Because you're playing João Mario and Chiquinho and Arsenis outside.
But we've already had a sample of the Arsenis in the middle, and he's not as good as Chiquinho.
Come on.
In that position.
But by saying he's not as good as Chiquinho, you're insinuating that Chiquinho is good.
He's not.
begin with.
He doesn't play as well in terms of interpreting. Interpreting Rogers' idea.
But I can fix that. I told you how to fix that.
Cortas os pés ao homem.
No, I told you play Neres on one side, Rafa on the other, and you play João Mario and the trident in the middle with the three. Him, Arsenis, and Florentino in the middle. You're playing a 4-3-3. And now you get the destroyer, you get João Mario to distribute the ball a little bit, and then you got the other two guys on the outside to cause havoc.
Call Schmidt.
They need to call me.
Call Schmidt right now. Let him know.
So you have João Mario playing behind Ramos then?
No, you play Arsenis and Tino side by side and João Mario in the front.
Yeah, you play him in a triangle.
That's it.
Yeah.
Play him in a triangle.
And then João Mario will do, because he's had that. He has that in him. He's done that in the past. He'll be the distributor, because that's the one thing that Chiquinho has better than Arsenal, his better feet. Doesn't mean he's a better player, but he's got better feet.
Agora já é tarde. We're gonna ride the rest of it. But look,
Michael says I think it's Mike. Continue if he usually brings. I hope it's Mike. Or I don't hope. I like everybody, but I'm saying I think it's Mike because I hope it's Mike because I said it was Mike. But he said Nets should be starting over Rafa right now. Rafa, I mean, dude, the guy
Rafa,
and he plays 90 minutes.
He's been bad. He's been bad for the past
atrocious
3-4 games. He hasn't really been that guy. And look, I know that he's with a run. With a little move, he could change a lot of things, and he can impact the game. He doesn't have finish in him, that's for sure. But in terms of one-on-one ability and mismatches and creating mismatches, I think he has it. So I think there's always that Rafa. So I think there's always that little thing about Rafa. With one touch, one dribble, he could change a play.
Yeah, but if he's turning the ball over every time he touches
every time,
what's
the
the
point? Bad.
Maybe you leave him on the bench, start with Neres, and then
that's what Mike is saying.
And then you bring in the Spingarda at the end.
That's what Mike is saying.
What's he saying?
That you should be sitting Rafa over Neres.
Oh yeah. No, should be yes.
Yeah, and and the thing is that.
Yo, hit the like button, guys.
Hit the like button. Destroy that shit. The thing is that I don't know. I'm just frustrated with these two games because they're not the Benfica that we've grown accustomed to. But now it makes you question that, is this Benfica team a Manco master?
You see, Alex Cabral says Arsenal and Tino as the pivot. Like I said, they play side by side. Exactly, 100%. And then you play João Mario ahead of him and let him distribute. But like Mike says, Arsenal plays in the middle for nowhere, and he plays well. So,
but
maybe he's asked. Obviously, he's not asked to do the same thing that a Chiquinho or Enzo, which is have the ball at his feet and come back, be the first line of construction. And I could see him struggling with that aspect of the game. Not struggling, but maybe not being as good as other guys are in that aspect of the game. So that could be the one thing. And I think he likes the fact that Arsenis up top plays with more intensity than a Chiquinho, for example. And therefore, he'll press more, and once Benfica turns the ball over up top, it's it's pressure right from the get go. I think a lot of that comes into play.
I think that that Auschwitz could cover a lot more ground than Chiquinho can. Could be at more. Look, at the end of the day, I think that we're all extremely frustrated because this is not the team that we expected. Both against Porto and against Inter, we should have at least.
It's not even the team. It's I think the attitude.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, because
it's
the team
part of it.
When you say the team, it could be portrayed as lineups or players. I just think it's the attitude. And in particular, that game against Porto at home, the attitude was deplorable. That was miserable.
Yeah.
Nothing to praise about that attitude. Now, in today's game against Inter Milan, man, we just thought that Benfica was going to have that attitude because they wanted a bounce back performance because we had shit to bet on Friday.
Yeah, and I said that when you had to get the Chargers, that we were hoping that that after that Porto match, that the team was going to come out and want to eat grass and really make a difference in this game, and that wasn't the case. I didn't think that the team was as bad as they were against Porto, but they still. They were not Champions League caliber. That's what I'll say. Because when you're in a Champions League, the few chances that you create, you got to put them away. Because if you don't kill, you're gonna die. And that's what Inter did. I don't think they had a lot of chances. They had a few chances, and they put one away and another one to PK.
Do. I mean, you had Grimaldo in front of goal. I don't know. He's falling back.
But the angle's weird.
Yeah, but
you're talking about that one like inside the six.
Rafa,
everybody's trying to get a piece of the ball.
lá pra dentro, bro. That ball's got to get in at all costs. You don't care about style points at that matter.
Yeah.
At that point, I should say, not that matter. And it's just, again, when the ball could bounce our way, it just never does. I'm telling you, Bela Gutman, that son of a...
É, man, esquece isso, man. Isso não existe, pá.
Existe, pá.
Não existe nada, pá.
Então, so you calling us miserables?
Where's Carlos Amaro? Because somebody had mentioned Bela Gutman, and Carlos was like, Carlos said something. I'm gonna look it up on Twitter. But look, it was poor. It was poor by Benfica, and I don't know. I think that we're still on time to turn this around, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're still alive, so that's the only positive sign. But now you're going into Italy to play a team that plays the calcionato, what's it called, Dave? The calcionato, whatever it's called. And those teams have historically been known when they apply those defensive tactics. Italian teams are a hard team to penetrate and get balls into their goals. So I don't anticipate all of a sudden a reverse, all of a sudden a light goes off and Benfica's playing wonderful football. We're creating chance after chance. I hope it happens, but, it's going to be tight, man.
It's not like we're going to go play them in a month from now. It's already next week, too. So we have
it's next
game against Chaves.
No,
and then Inter.
That's right. Carlos, in reply to that, Bela Gutman said, curses only exist in the minds of the credulous idiots who, unsurprisingly, also blame their personal shortcomings on exes. Exes meaning...
Carlos, I love Carlos, mas o Carlos é uma pessoa...
mas isso não existe, man.
Esquece lá essa merda, pá. He's a glass half full.
That shit doesn't exist.
So we just suck. That's it.
I think we just suck.
It's just, I think it was Diogo, my Canadian brother, who says, is Benfica, what was the question he said? Something along the lines of, was Benfica not good? Or no, were we bad or were we just never that good? That's the question. Were we bad the last two games?
Or have we been the Manco Masters team?
No, we for sure are the Manco Masters.
We lost Pizzi, but with the rest of the Manco Masters are still here. Anyway, let's Dave, you got stats so we can move on?
Yeah. First loss for Benfica this year in Champions League play. In the current Champions League format, Benfica have failed to win at the quarterfinals stages. In the previous 11 quarterfinal matches, 4 draws, 7 defeats. So this is the current Champions League format before the European Champions Cup.
Yeah,
not
look,
including those.
I still believe that the team has enough in them to go into Milan and be able to turn this around. From what I've seen this year, in terms of the games against PSG, the games against Juventus, I think that we're going to need a Benfica at their very, very best to beat Inter in the coming week. I also know that Inter is going to make use of all of their experience, and they're going to defend, and they're going to be comfortable defending because we saw that today, and they're just going to frustrate. They're going to frustrate Benfica, but Benfica really has to be at their best, and whatever chances they create, they need to put away. They can't squander any chances because they will have very few chances. So.
Diego Reyes mentions the curses. I guess he's referring to Cubs won a World Series, referring to the curse. But that was, 87 years later?
87.
I think it was 87. Billy the Goat, the curse. I think they killed the goat, and then they finally won. Something.
We'll see if about curses here. The Maple Leafs and the NHL playoffs are going to be starting.
When did Bella Gutman say these famous
isso,
words?
man. Essa merda não existe.
Pá, estou a fazer umas contas aqui na cabeça. Dave, when did he say it? 19 what? It's been like 60 years. That means we got... It's got to be late 60s.
65, 66.
So we're like 60 years in. We got another 40 years of misery, bro. Go dig them up and throw them in the river. With the fish.
Já foi lá o Eusébio. Já foi... Essa merda não existe, pá. Esquece essa merda, pá. Isso não existe. Esquece isso, man.
No, let's let the
We just have to be competent.
Let's let the Freddies go to...
We just have to competent. Anyway, coming up, Chaves, another trip up. Another trip up north
I'm
to
checking
Keys.
out. I'm doing like the fans that leave early. I'm checking
Steven
out.
Vitoria.
You got to catch a train?
Dave, what's Chaves up to this year?
Chaves, currently in 11th with 33 points from 8 wins, 9 draws, 10 losses this season. What do we got here? Historically, 36 meetings between the two clubs, 29 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses, 6 wins, 1 draw in the last 7 meetings since Chaves came up back to the first division in 2018. Chaves' recent form, 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses in their last 5 coming into this match.
Yeah.
It's at home, right? It's outside the Luz?
No,
it's on
in
the road?
Saturday, 6 p.m. in Trás dos Montes.
Why do we play 2 games back-to-back on the road?
What are you talking about?
No,
we played Porto at the
Friday.
Luge.
Oh, shit. I keep thinking that was
Hey, but Chris
Champions-
might be onto something.
It felt like it was at the Dragão, but
Yeah.
What'd you say, Dave? Wow, dude, because I'm talking about Champions League. I'm thinking of big game. Yeah, that's right. It's a road game.
yeah.
Day.
Yeah. No, look, it's going to be another tough game. We'll have Otamendi back.
Otamendi back, but Florentino's
Otamendi
out.
back, Florentino out.
He
Florentino's
was
out.
bound to be out at some point.
It's Chiquinho and Neres.
Chiquinho and Ausnes.
Chiquinho, Neres, Chiquinho and Arsenal's in the middle, Dave.
Yep.
Not
Yeah,
Neres.
But,
Neres,
that
Romario,
means- but,
and Rafa.
Neres is getting a start.
Hopefully. I mean,
but
what,
Diogo-
what else does the guy need to do? Because I understand when he's not in form, and there's been periods of the season where he's been not so great. But right now, you would say that he's the guy that you look forward to coming off the bench because you know he can make a difference. Neres.
Can't bring him off the bench no more.
But I'm saying is that right now you look at the bench.
Gets
Well, you look at the bench and said, I'm excited about Neres coming in.
No, I wanted him starting.
You want him started, but when he's not starting, you're excited about seeing him come in because you know he's a guy that's going to make moves.
Yeah, yes, excited is not the word. I'm like eager.
Eager. You're right. Eager is a better
Eager
word.
to get him on the pitch.
Eager is a better word.
But now Gonçalo
Fucking
Epa, he's
hell,
Gonçalo.
but
Too
you-
many
but-
fucking Gonçalo.
But you don't know when Gedge is going to be 100%. I'm sure he wasn't 100% today.
So I disagree, Alfredo.
You think he was 100% today?
Yeah. Because you're not going to play him if he's not 100%.
What about 95?
No, I think he's
What about 90?
No.
What about 80?
I think he's full throttle, ready to go.
But if he was at 90, would you play him?
No. Not in this game. I'd want him at 100% next game.
Okay.
But why if he's not 90, why risk it? Honestly. Why risk it? Because at the end of the day, you still have very important games, even in the Liga. Yo, nothing is wrapped up yet.
I know.
So what? Looking down your bench, you got no options. Are you really risking one
Goddamn.
of the few options you got?
At least Gil Diaz and Diogo Gonçalves are gone.
Yo,
Imagine.
Gil Diaz be killing it over there at Kaiserslautern. Yo, he's
You've been scoring some golaços.
he's the man, you know. But
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just it's been a difficult few days for us Benfiquistas with it today. And,
depois deste desastre, queres vir para aqui falar dos Chaves? Epá, I got no.
mas o Chaves, bro, it's
no
the next
tesão.
game, man. You gotta look forward. You gotta look forward to the next game
Let me ask you a question before we leave.
before we leave. Yeah.
Do you start, Dave? You too, man. Get in on this. And Freddy's. Do you start Verissimo at right back instead of
No.
No, I'm talking about next game.
No.
Why not? Could he be worse than this guy?
No.
Do we go back to the three central defenders?
That's never been played.
Continue. It's in Germany. I was close. I got the country
What?
right.
Stuttgart.
What I said,
You said
Kaiserslautern?
Kaiserslautern. I think Kaiserslautern is like in the second division or third division.
So Stuttgart.
Stuttgart, yeah.
The only thing I know about Stuttgart is they had Balakov after he left Sporting, went to Stuttgart.
And you know what else they had?
Mieta.
Oh, Fran Meira, not Mieta.
Yeah, he has a Dave has a-
Meira, Fran
Dave
Meira.
has an issue with
Yeah.
E and the I's.
Fran
Yeah,
Meira. He was
yeah,
captain. He
that's
was
it.
captain of them before he went to Galatasaray. But yeah. What the hell were we saying? Yeah, do you start Luis Verito at right back?
Right back. No, man. No. Because you're gonna play Chaves and you're not gonna really have to defend that much against Chaves. So why would you put Verissimo
But
when you need a guy that's more
Have
vertically
you watched this team defend lately?
aimed?
What have you done against Porto? What the hell was that? What was that?
No idea.
Okay, so I mean, I don't have much trust in this or confidence, I should say. In
No, not him at right back. Not him at right back.
I don't know. I'm just.
I'd
could
play
see it.
Chiquinho first at right back
Oh,
before
fuck,
I pay Verissimo.
Tu és, vocês
Eu
andam.
sou mau.
Não, vocês andam apaixonados por Chiquinho, bro.
Chiquinho could play right back.
Vocês, you guys
It's like
love.
Ruben Amorim
You-
reincarnated.
You and the rest of the Benfiquistas love mediocrity. Mediocrity.
Who's better, Amorim or Chiquinho in their prime?
Amorim.
Amorim?
Hell yeah.
Chat. Amorim or Chiquinho in their prime?
Amorim. Not even close.
Chiquinho or Chican? Chicdan.
Hey, Andre Almeida is still looking for work if we need to sign him on
No,
an
did
emergency
he-
contract.
Did
here.
he? Oh, he left, right? We
Yeah, he
finally let
left.
him go. That's right. I forgot.
Amorim. Diogo Reis says Amorim. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Amorim's better, bro.
Yeah, Amorim is better. Amorim could play right back too.
When he was national team play, Amorim's polyvalent. And they thought they could
Yeah,
turn out.
o Fred joga defesa direita. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He could play anywhere, really.
Também. Epá, mas se vamos jogar o Fred, fez direito, quem vai jogar a trinco?
Ah, pois é. No jogo...
Opa, não inventem. Este já está mal para pior. Before we know it, we're going to be seeing freaking...
Not even close. Yeah, you're right, Mike. Not even close. Amorim.
Yeah, it's Amorim. Amorim's a better player, bro.
Amorim all day.
You gotta listen to me in the first place. And the chat today, like Diogo said, they're all agreeing with me anyway.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just, I wanted to get your opinion.
But that's not a question.
How is that a fucking question?
What's better, $100 bill or $2 bill?
That's still a question.
No, but it's not a question.
It depends.
But a $2 bill
Canadian
could be,
dollar
No,
against U.S. dollar?
the $2 bill could be one of those collectibles.
South African dollar?
No, man. Well, U.S. dollars is going to be there soon. Bro.
Anyway, we got to go. We got to go, everybody. Thank you for keeping us company. Thank you for cheering us up. Thank you for sharing our misery. And thank you for sharing our optimism.
Diogo, you're saying that I'm
what
inventing.
optimism? What podcast was I listening to here the last
No,
hour?
Diogo Reis says no inventem.
No,
Mas lá estás tu a inventar o Veríssimo right. No, because we've hold on. We see it. We see other teams playing three center backs at the back. Bro, it ain't uncommon to see a central having to play outside if they need be. And again, you're gonna risk. Imagine this, because you guys are all mocking me, right? But that's fine. Imagine Gilberto plays against shot, then he pulls up hurt. Who's gonna play right back against Inter on Wednesday? It's gonna be Verissimo, guys.
No.
Here we go with the no. Who's it gonna be?
How about that kid?
Oh,
that kid
Otamendi.
from the B
No,
team?
they'll,
Is he,
no, they'll,
anything special?
no, Dave. What they'll do? I'm sorry, because Otamendi will be back for that game, so they'll play three at the back.
It's never been tested. It's never been played.
Justo me fazer coisas dessas. Era 3-4-3s and 3-5-2s.
Anyway, we got to go, everyone. Thank you for keeping us company, and thank you for sharing our misery. We'll be
Love you
back
guys.
on Tuesday.
Hit the like
The
button.
game against Inter is on Wednesday.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button, subscribe, and
Follow me on YouTube, 10CO10.
follow me on YouTube. I got 3 videos.
Hey. It's quality over quantity, baby.
Take care, everyone.
Peace out, fellas.